Welcome to Release Readiness Live. I'm Christy Moscoso, your Release Readiness champion. We are broadcasting from our home studios all of this week to share some new features in the Winter 21 release. After our product team shares the highlights, we'll spend some time taking questions on air. We will be monitoring both the Release Readiness Trailblazer community and Twitter, so post your questions as soon as you think of them with the hashtag Salesforce Live. I recommend posting your longer, more detailed questions in the community where the conversation can continue after this webcast. If we don't get to your questions on air, we'll be sure to follow up with you within a few days. All of our webcasts will be available on the Salesforce Live website for later viewing. And since we may be covering roadmap, we will be making some forward-looking statements, so please make your purchasing decisions based on currently available functionality. Now let's get started with Commerce Cloud and meet our product managers.
Thank you, Christina. My name is Ann Curtis from Product Management of B2C Commerce, and I'm going to tell you about the grocery e-commerce features that we're releasing in the Winter 21 release. Let's take a look. The grocery industry has faced major disruption, which got even more accelerated with the pandemic. Consumers expect their grocer to know and support them while they shift channels they use for grocery shopping. They want the same hyper-convenience and personalized offers online as they would get in stores. New channels and formats of grocery shoppings arose as well, like food boxes and subscription services. We're here to help grocers with the digital transformation of their shopping experience. With this release, we have published a new free feature set that will help our grocery merchants to significantly decrease their implementation time. It consists of three main pieces: a digital grocery storefront experience that allows shoppers to shop a specific store with its own offering, pricing, and promotions. Secondly, an app for time slot management. With that, grocery merchants can generate pickup or delivery time slots based on their staff's capacity. These slots then get displayed in the online store for shoppers to select as their order pickup time. Lastly, the package includes an order picking app. Store associates can install it on their mobile devices to log in, view orders, and view their line items, and to then assemble the order for the shopper. Now I would like to show you the grocery storefront experience in detail. For that, let me introduce you to Katie. Katie is a busy working doctor and mother. She prefers to shop online and would like to create her grocery order ready for collection on Saturday morning after her night shift on her way home. Let's follow Katie on her grocery shopping journey on the Sunny Foods website. As Katie arrives on the site, she is asked to select the store from which she would like to collect her groceries from. Katie could click Use My Location to find a store close to her home, but she will be in Zurich City for work, so she types Zurich. She selects the store Lochergut, and with this selection, she will see all the right pickup time slots, products, and promotions available in that store. Next, Katie selects Saturday, which is when she wants to pick up her order. She sees the available time slots for the day. Katie chooses 6 a.m., which is when she finishes her night shift. After verifying her selection, she is met with a homepage where she can see rich content provided by Sunny Foods. Here she can see different categories of food and even recipes. Since Katie will be home in time for the family breakfast, she heads to the bakery section. Here, on the product listing page, she can see a range of bakery products, relevant promotions, and filters down the side. Once Katie goes into a product, she can see the reviews, the price, ingredients, and nutritional values. She can add the product to her shopping cart, and it then shows in the mini cart at the top. Next on the shopping list is milk. On this page, you can see that the first options displayed are the own Sunny Foods brand milks. This configuration is part of the sample data set included in the kit. Katie adds milk to her cart and heads over to the fruit section. Here, Katie can see products including their price per unit for easier price comparison. She only wants organic produce and sets the filter accordingly. Then Katie selects a box of blueberries and she sees there is a 3 for 2 promotion. So she heads to the mini cart to double-check the offer is getting applied and increases the quantity. Here it is €4.10 for 2 and still €4.10 for 3 boxes. The price is correct. Katie is happy with that purchase. Next is the recipes. Katie's is looking for inspiration of what to cook on Wednesday night when her friends come round for dinner. She recalls seeing recipes on the homepage. The chicken and lemongrass stir-fry recipe looks good and simple enough. Here she can see the ingredients, method, print the recipes, and, best of all, shop the ingredients. That makes it easy to add everything that's needed into the cart. Before she checks out, Katie remembers she is low on shampoo. She searches directly in the search bar for her favorite and starts typing Head & Shoulders. As soon as she starts typing, the suggestion for Head & Shoulder shampoo appears. She clicks it and it takes her to the product details page, and there she adds it to the cart. Katie is ready to check out. She hovers over the mini cart to see the products in her basket and can scroll through to see the promotions in her cart. She could check out from here, but decides to click on the cart icon, which takes her through to the full cart page. Here Katie can see the icon Allow Replacement. This is important for the store associate when picking Katie's products. If an item is out of stock, they need to know if Katie is okay with substituting products. Katie can also make sure that she had selected the pickup day and time as intended. Now, Katie can go through her shop, which is grouped by product category. She is happy with the replacements for all the foods and drinks, but she will only use Head & Shoulders shampoo, so she unticks Allow Replacement here and continues with the checkout. Katie completes her order, but not before double-checking she has everything she needs. But don't worry, it's still a few days until the scheduled pickup, so she will have time to edit her order if she finds something else is missing in her fridge. We've just seen how Katie uses Sunny Foods online shop to order her groceries ready to be picked up after work. We saw how she could shop the offering and promotions of a selected store, how she could easily filter by nutritional requirements, and how she got inspired by a recipe which she'll cook for her friends. Katie is happy, and I'm sure Sunny Foods is as well. Our grocer could launch the site quickly with the Grocery Commerce Toolkit. Easily create beautiful recipe experiences with clicks, not code. Manage the time slots and availability per store, and support the store associates with the order picking app. Well, that's it for grocery. Now I'll turn things over to Tanvi. Tanvi, take it away.
Thanks, Anne. My name is Tanvi Dali, and I'm the Senior Product Manager for the Contextual Pricing domain in B2C Commerce Cloud. And today, I'd like to review the promotions combinability and exclusivity enhancements that we made in 226 and 228. So let's dive in. Commerce Cloud has one of the most powerful pricing and promotions engine that is feature-rich, extensible, and highly scalable to meet our customers' needs. Marketers can configure and store thousands of promotions. They can define ranking and combinability criteria to allow or prevent stacking of discounts on a product, an order, or a shipment. These set of promotion enhancements allow marketers to extend the combinability and exclusivity logic in two ways. Allow promotions that would otherwise be restricted from combining to stack on an order, and restrict promotions from stacking that would otherwise be allowed to stack on an order. There are 3 new attributes added to the combinability section of the promotion rule builder: exclusivity group, combinable promotions, and mutually exclusive promotions. I'll show 2 scenarios that demonstrate how these fields can be used. In the first use case, I have a product promotion that gives the shopper 15% off the category of gaming. The exclusivity is class, meaning it can't combine with any other product promotions that have a category of gaming as a qualifier. However, I want this promotion to combine with a buy one Nintendo console and get one Nintendo game free promotion that is also class exclusive. I will add the BOGO promotion to the combinable promotions field to override the exclusivity logic and allow it to stack with the 15% off. So let's jump into Business Manager and see how it works. I have my 15% off gaming promotion here, and my BOGO promotion here. In order to allow these to stack in the cart, I would add the BOGO promotion to the combinable field of the 15% off promotion. If I jump into my storefront and navigate to a qualifying product, I see both promotions marketed on the PDP. And when I add the Nintendo game console to my cart, I see that both of these promotions applied, the BOGO free game promotion and the 15% off. Now let's review the second use case. We have an order promotion that gives $20 off when a shopper buys $100 worth of items in the gaming category. The promotion exclusivity is none, meaning it can stack with all other applicable promotions. Normally in this case, both the order and product promotions would apply. But as a marketer, I don't want the $20 off to stack on top of the BOGO promotion in the shopper's cart. So I would add the BOGO promotion to the mutually exclusive field to override the exclusivity logic and prevent the two promotions from stacking. Let's jump into Business Manager again. I have the same BOGO promotion with class exclusivity. I have the $20 off order promotion with exclusivity as none. In order to prevent these two from stacking in the cart, I would add the BOGO promotion to the mutually exclusive field of the order promotion. And if I go to my storefront and add the qualifying product to my cart, you can see that only the BOGO promotion applied because it was ranked higher. I did not receive the $20 off order promotion. To make management easier, multiple promotions can also be added to the exclusivity group field, and the entire group can be added to the combinable or mutually exclusive fields. Let's assume all of your BOGO promotions are added to a Group A exclusivity group, and you don't want your $20 off order promotions to stack with any of your Group A promotions. In this case, you would add Group A in the exclusivity group field and add all other BOGO promotions to Group A to include them in the grouping. Then you can add Group A to the mutually exclusive field of your $20 off order promotion. When you navigate to the storefront, you will achieve the same result as before, which means your BOGO promotions in Group A can't stack with the $20 off order promotion. In this case, the higher ranking promotion, the bonus product, is applied. Additionally, here are some quick tips to consider when configuring promotions combinability and exclusivity criteria. Marketers now have more flexibility than ever before to allow or prevent their shoppers from stacking discounts and better manage their revenue and profitability. And that wraps up my demo. Thank you very much. Over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Tommy. Hello, my name is Alex Bucher, and I'm a product manager for Salesforce Commerce Cloud. Today, I'm going to walk you through some exciting trust-related changes, including the Commerce Cloud and Salesforce identity integration, new multi-factor authentication options for Commerce Cloud Account Manager, and additional multi-factor protections for the usage of JavaScript in Commerce Cloud Business Manager. Let's jump right in. I'm pleased to announce our Commerce Cloud Account Manager and Salesforce identity integration will be generally available in September. This feature provides a single sign-on solution for Salesforce users across clouds, including Commerce Cloud. This also allows Commerce Cloud customers to authenticate their users through integrated third-party identity management solutions such as Okta. This allows seamless integration and management of users across the Commerce Cloud and Salesforce ecosystem, authenticating to applications like Business Manager via Salesforce Identity or your own internal identity management solutions. Let's talk more about this new integration. Commerce Cloud customers can already leverage Account Manager for single sign-on access to Commerce Cloud applications such as Business Manager and Log Center. Furthermore, Salesforce Identity for login to other clouds, such as Service Cloud, can already be integrated with your own internal identity management systems. However, we have now closed the loop, allowing Commerce Cloud Account Manager to integrate with Salesforce Identity. Not only does this enable you to log into Commerce Cloud applications with your Salesforce credentials for other clouds when configured, but you can now complete the chain and use your own identity management systems to authenticate users for Commerce Cloud applications such as Business Manager. With this new identity integration, you can now integrate your own internal identity management systems with Commerce Cloud via Salesforce Identity. We have also enabled single sign-on into Commerce Cloud applications via Salesforce Identity. Further, you can also leverage multi-factor authentication through your internal identity management system if integrated into Salesforce Identity. And finally, you can centrally manage user identities via Salesforce Identity or your own internal identity management system. Now, let's transition to the next item of this release presentation, the availability of new multi-factor authentication methods for Commerce Cloud. Generally available in September, we've added support for 2 new multi-factor authentication, or MFA, methods to Account Manager. These factors allow your users with MFA enabled new options to authenticate to meet the needs of your business. Of course, we encourage you to enable MFA for all users and aim to help ease this transition with these new features. The first of these new factors is WebAuthN. This is supported by all common web browsers out of the box, and there is no need to install extra software. The most well-known WebAuthN device is likely the YubiKey, but all FIDO2 compliant authenticators are compatible. This enables you to use hardware tokens when mobile devices are not available, such as for call center employees or other use cases. The second new factor available is referred to as time-based one-time passwords, or more easily called TOTP. TOTP is supported by a wide range of authenticator applications, such as Google Authenticator or Authy. This allows your users new options in addition to the Salesforce Authenticator application. Finally, the last item I would like to talk to you today about is the prevention of JavaScript injection in Business Manager HTML attributes. Focused on security and trust, we have added improved security requirements for adding JavaScript to customer sites via Commerce Cloud Business Manager. These changes are included in the 20.9 September Commerce Cloud release. Commerce Cloud Business Manager users who have permission to edit sensitive modules, such as embedding JavaScript into HTML attributes within content assets, are now required to log in with MFA. Customers who would like to allow their users to continue to embed JavaScript into HTML attributes in Business Manager UI will need to enable multi-factor authentication through Account Manager for these users. Again, our focus is trust in protecting our customers, and we encourage all customers to leverage multi-factor authentication for all users, regardless of what actions they take. Thanks for taking the time to listen through these new trust-related features today. I'm going to throw it over to Phil Egan, who will introduce you to the new enhancements for Salesforce order management.
Thanks, Alex. My name's Phil Egan, Senior Product Manager with Salesforce Order Management. And in the Winter 20 release, Salesforce Order Management will introduce exception handling in a Return Merchandise Authorization, or RMA, data model. These are exciting new features to help promptly identify issues with orders and improve order servicing. And during today's demo, I'm going to show you these 2 new features in action. With exception handling, we've introduced a new process exception object that allows operations teams to identify and surface issues with an order so that they can be promptly rectified. Exceptions can even be assigned to service agents for customer follow-up. And also during the Winter 20 release, we've introduced a new return order object, which will allow customers to create custom RMA workflows to manage the return lifecycle for a product. Now, let's get started with a demo of the Salesforce Order Management Winter 20 features. First, let's meet Corey. Corey is the Digital Operations Manager for Alpine Nutrition. And a major part of Corey's job is ensuring that orders are being fulfilled within their SLA and that customer service issues are being promptly addressed. The first thing that Corey does when he arrives to work in the morning is to bring up Salesforce Order Management and check the health of the orders in the system. In order to do this, Corey is going to navigate to the Order Summary list view of the most recent orders, where you can quickly identify if there are any new exceptions. As Corey is reviewing the most recent orders, he notices that there is an exception that has been raised on order 108. The new process exception feature in the winter release makes it easy for order management users to proactively identify issues that occur during the order lifecycle. The process exception framework has been purposely built to have a ton of flexibility, allowing administrators and developers to trigger exceptions via configurable platform events. These exceptions can even be categorized by area. for example, payment, fulfillment, or return order. And they can also be prioritized and assigned to other users for follow-up. Since Corey sees there is an exception that needs attention on this order, he's going to drill into the order summary to get more details on the issue. From the order summary record, Corey clicks directly into the exception from the alert banner on the top of the order summary page. Corey can now see that the exception is related to the return order that has been open for an excessive period of time. Corey contacts the warehouse and provides the warehouse manager with the RMA record number. The warehouse confirms that the product was received and the RMA should have been closed out. Based on this confirmation from the warehouse, Corey closes the process exception. After closing the exception, Corey navigates to the return order and sets the RMA to closed. Closing the RMA calls a flow, which then triggers the refund to the customer and adjusts the order summary to reflect the return item. So, as you can see, the Salesforce Order Management Winter 20 release contains great new features that power operational efficiency and provide great customer service experiences. All right, well, that's all for me. Back over to you, Christina, to take us through some Q&A.
Great. So many awesome updates. I'm excited to get started with our Q&A session. As always, a quick reminder to everybody that we are taking questions live from the community and Twitter. I'll be reading those out to our speakers. But if you want to go ahead and put them in as you think of them, we will be doing them in order. So the faster you get them in, the more likely that we'll actually get to them live on air. And if we don't, it's okay. We'll follow up with you within the next few days. So no worries there. And Tanvi, Alex, Phil, you guys ready?
Ready here.
Sure thing.
Let's do it. Alex, I'm going to give you the first question. Will I still need to enable MFA in Account Manager when using the Salesforce identity integration if my internal IDM already requires it? It's a great question.
Awesome. No, that is a great question. So let me just recap a little bit. So when you're using the Salesforce identity integration, effectively what it allows you to do is sync Account Manager, the identity management service for Commerce Cloud, and Salesforce Identity. Because of that, you can also additionally sync your internal identity management system. Let's use, for example, say you're using Okta. If you have that integration and then you have MFA enabled for your users through Okta, thus, when they go and log in and they're already using a second factor, say a mobile authenticator or even a hard token like an RSA token or a YubiKey, that will actually allow you to manage MFA for your own organization and no longer require that MFA enablement on the account manager setting. So you won't need to do the two-factor challenge twice. However, what's really important to note is that that kind of offloads the ownership and the onus of mandating that MFA policy on your organization. So while we do recommend that all of our users use MFA, either through that internal IDM integration or through our account manager, we offer you both so that you can manage it in the best way that works for your business. And of course, if you have a mixed use case, you have some users migrated, some not, or whatever you may do, you have the optionality to use either or even both if you really wanted. However, our recommendation is that you either manage it via your own internal identity management or through our account manager.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm sure MFA is top of mind for a lot of people, so we'll probably get more of those questions. Next question, can some grocery features get used standalone outside of the bundle?
I'm glad you asked, actually. So as we just saw, the grocery bundle consists of three key pieces. It's the storefront, right? And that comes with a variety of great features. And you can definitely cherry pick from that. So it's basically a collection of different plugins for your grocery storefront. And you can cherry pick from these, right? If you just want to take the recipe pages, or if you just want to use the little badges that we showed for nutritional values, if you want to use those, for example, for a tech page, right? You want to show that something applies to certain operating systems or something, you can use these little badges as well for your storefront. That's fine too. And then we have the picker app. The picker app is totally generic, so you can use that for any order picking in store if you like. And same applies to the time slot manager. So the time slot manager is actually awesome because it's so generic that you can use it not just for booking time slots for pickup and delivery, but you could, for example, use it for restaurants, for table bookings. You can use it for parking lot bookings. So really anything where you want to book time slots, you can use that tool independent of the grocery storefront.
I love those time slot suggestions. Are there any steps needed to provision the process exception and return order objects in my Salesforce order management org?
No. Once the winter release goes live, the process exception and return order objects will be available, and customers can start building their solutions right at that point. So they should start seeing in the sandboxes very shortly, and then come October with the release, it'll be fully available.
That's exciting. October, everyone. Can I still use the simple return flow that ships with Salesforce order management now that there's a new RMA return order?
Absolutely. We built this in such a way. Some customers just use a simple return flow, and that is the type of return where a lot of customers maybe ship the product with a return label. They don't utilize an RMA lifecycle process, so they can still utilize that for the simple return flow to trigger a refund, or they can opt to use the RMA flow as well.
Awesome. Tanvi, I think this next one is for you. If I prevent multiple promotions to stack on an order, which one ranks higher and will it get applied?
Yeah. So our Commerce Cloud promotion engine has some rules that are hard-coded for defining stacking. So for example, a fixed price discount will rank higher than an amount off or a percent off discount, for example. But there are ways to influence these rules. So you can control this by defining exclusivity or ranking as part of a campaign or A/B test. And based on the way you've configured these rules, certain promotions will apply higher than others. So if you have, let's say, a product class exclusive promotion that can't be combined with any other product promotions, and let's say an order promotion that may be also class exclusive, the product will apply first, and then the order gets applied after that. So some rules are hard-coded in our system, but there are other ways to influence it is by defining the exclusivity and the ranking in the campaign and A/B testing.
That makes sense. What is a typical implementation timeline for a grocery storefront? Another grocery question there for you, Anne.
I love that one. Well, that is actually a really tricky question because every grocer has like their own setup, right? Their own system landscape. So it really depends on what the integration requirements are for the grocery storefront. However, the grocery solution kit is basically saving you like 8,000 hours of development time. That's what's in that kit, right? So typically we probably, with light requirements of changes that you want to do to what we're offering, and with a, limited integration scope, you'll probably be done within 4 months. That sounds a long time. However, for grocery projects, as they are very complex, I think this is a pretty good timeline.
Yeah. And a lot of businesses are pivoting to online businesses these days. And there are a number of tools available. How do you know if B2C commerce is right for you? I think that's a great question. Anybody want to take that? That could be for whoever feels up for it.
So the nice thing about B2C commerce is that really, we have customers from very small businesses all the way to really, really large customers, right? The beauty of our platform is that it has really high scale. So flash sales, these are certain things that not every platform can handle, right? Just think Black Friday. And, the whole services that we offer around scalability, around trust, security, I think is unprecedented. And the key thing is not just the B2C commerce platform for selling your goods, but is really looking at the integration of like the Salesforce portfolio that comes with it. If you think customer 360, you really want to get this centralized view of the customer, right? That basically your service agent have the knowledge of what's been bought online and easily access that data. And this is really where the beauty of Salesforce comes in, and where Commerce Cloud is really like the perfect fit for your online business.
Yeah, right. It's that somebody is thinking about this holistically, like it's all one. So we're thinking about it all when we're building it for you. I love that.
Absolutely.
Can product promotions be combined with or excluded from shipping promotions?
Yeah, so with these new enhancements, any rules can be combined with product order or shipping. So if a customer had a free shipping promotion, let's say running, but they wanted to exclude it from a specific, let's say 25% off or 30% off friends and family order promotion, they can configure it using these new features that we launched earlier this year.
Great. And we have a few questions that just got in the community. Seth asks, are the Picker app and time slot tools managed in Commerce or in the core Salesforce app?
So the Picker app is managed in Commerce. The time slot manager, that can run on any platform as a service. Of course, we recommend Roku as Salesforce platform as a service, but really you can literally take it and put it wherever you want it.
And the second question is also for you, Anne. That's the second Seth question. Are any of the grocery features compatible with Site Genesis, or do they require SFRA?
They are extensions to SFRA.
That makes sense. Do my users need to be in Account Manager to leverage the Salesforce identity integration?
Yes, I'll take that one. So let me just provide a little bit of context too for those listening in. So on the Commerce Cloud side, Account Manager is our internal identity management solution. However, we also have Business Manager as an additional identity management layer. So when you're using and maintaining your site as a merchant, doing any kind of administration or configuration, you're actually using our Business Manager application. Some of our legacy users would be created and have accounts in Business Manager specifically, and Account Manager is our newest and kind of latest and greatest way that you can use for identity management for Commerce Cloud. So we offer a process called Unified Authentication. What that does is allow you to roll your Business Manager accounts into Account Manager and manage them in a centralized place. So this question is really tailing off of, as so far as I understand it, do you need to have those Business Manager users in Account Manager to be able to have that identity federation between Salesforce identity and your own internal management? So the answer in short is yes. That federation, the Salesforce identity connection to Account Manager, is for Account Manager specifically. And in order to even enable MFA for your users, you would need those Business Manager users to be linked to Account Manager today. So we can provide some follow-up material and others on what that process looks like. But in short, the answer is yes.
Okay. Are there any additional licensing charges to use the process exemption or return order in Salesforce order management?
No, and that's the great news. So the feature is going to be available soon, and there's no additional charge for it. So customers that are currently using order management will be able to get the process exception and return order very shortly. And for new purchasers of order management, it's all rolled up in the order management license.
That makes sense. And actually, since we're on order management, can you talk a little bit more about order management and what use cases this solves for? Because I know a lot of folks are excited about this. So whatever you can share about what's new or coming up with that would be great. I know we're going to get more questions.
Yeah, sure. And, maybe a little bit of background as well. I think order management platforms have long been sort of relegated to the back office side of things. The storefront and the sexy websites get all the credit, but we didn't really see it that way. Order management and an order management solution is really the brains of the operation. It's orchestrating all the downstream events to get that purchase into the end consumer's hands. So once the end user on the website hits buy, that's really where things are kicking off. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong in that process because there are so many downstream integrations. But getting it right is critically important now. That's how you win dedicated return customers. Yeah. And we really viewed combining Commerce Cloud with a tight integration to an order management solution built on the Salesforce platform as a key to success for our customers. We all know about the power of the Salesforce platform being fully configurable, easy to set up. You can enable great experiences with clicks, not code. So that was really the vision that we set out for when we built the order management platform. And we're now seeing it starting to come to life with, again, new add-on features like the process exception and the fulfillment order going into the return order. And going into 2021, we're going to be standing up our inventory service as well to be able to support use cases like ship from store, really sophisticated allocation rules for orders. So it's an exciting time. We're really looking forward to the year ahead.
Can you share anything on the timeline for those?
We're targeting the first half of 2021 for the inventory integration.
All right.
Yeah.
Heard it here first. And this question is for you. I heard of the quick start for grocery product. What's the difference?
Good question. The grocery is really, really an interesting vertical for us to move into, right? Like grocers have been really, have had a really wild time, especially through the pandemic. So we wanted to make sure we really support them very, very quickly as we can. A lot of them, have never been even in the online business, right? So to give them immediate help, we launched earlier this year the quick start for grocery, which is basically an offering from our partners. It's bundled like our Commerce Cloud licenses, but also partner services. So basically the partners are actually not just helping the customers getting set up, like they get their grocery storefront set up, but they're even managing the storefront for the first couple of months for them and handhold them as the staff actually learns about how to manage a digital storefront. So this is really a great package for anybody who's never done e-commerce before, pick up in store, everything is new, right? And then once basically you're kind of, grown up into the space, usually the demand comes for, but I want a storefront very specific to me. I want my brand, very rich content. I want recipes, pages, and so on. So this is where our new solution now comes in, right? So the toolkit basically allows you to kind of really get more feature rich, and really it's more for those grocers that have already done e-commerce, potentially had some issues, elsewhere with other e-commerce platforms, and find that, we really want a stable platform that can really hit our, help with our load that we have, especially throughout the pandemic and beyond, and really build the solution for, for a longer term.
Yeah. Unprecedented times, but that should make it a little bit easier, we hope, right?
Very
Promotion. So, yeah. This next question is on promotions. Does an order level promotion prorate the discount proportionally or linearly across all products in order?
Yeah, that's a good question. So order level promotion always discounts proportionally, meaning if you had two products in your cart, let's say one was $40, the other was $20, and you have a 20% discount off, the $8 would be applied to the $40 product, and the $2 would be applied to the yeah, the $10. So that way it stacks proportionally on the order.
Okay. The order management demo part showed a process exemption on return order. Can you provide some other examples of process exemptions that they can create?
Absolutely. And, the beauty is it's very configurable. And as I was saying before, with order management, there are so many different processes in downstream integrations between WMS and ERPs and shipping providers, marketplaces. Those are all external connections that feed into order management, and those are areas where things sometimes can go wrong. So, as an example, on the fulfillment order, when a fulfillment record is getting created, and let's say it's going to be a ship from store, and we try to allocate the order to a store, but for some reason that store is offline, that could trigger a platform event that would create a process exception that an operation manager could then flag and have ease of follow-up. Or payment capture, for instance. When the e-commerce platform authorizes a payment, the order management captures it at the time of fulfillment. There could be things that go wrong there. Maybe when we go to capture the payment, the credit card that was used has suddenly expired and we can't capture payment against that order right now. That could trigger an exception that could result in an operations manager following up and rectifying the situation. And what we learned when we were doing a lot of research on how we wanted to build this platform, the process exception area was a huge gap in so many of our competitors. And we heard time and again from customers, when things go wrong, they didn't have any visibility into what was going wrong and how they could correct it. So I think this is going to be a huge feature for our customers to give them visibility and to be able to proactively correct scenarios or situations when things haven't gone right with that order.
That's amazing. How much does Grocery Toolkit cost? We're taking it back to grocery, Anne.
So this is actually great news. So if you are a B2C Commerce-like customer already, it's totally free for you. Okay, so it's basically a community asset, free for our partners and for our customers to use. They can find that on GitHub, right? So basically, the licensing for Commerce Cloud obviously is not included, nor are any services with it, but it is a community asset. And the great thing about that is that anybody in our developer community who actually extends the toolkit, writes code, more code towards it, adds new features, that actually goes back into the kit. They can contribute. It's basically, it's open source without being open source, right? So it's an open source model inside of our community. Okay, so with everybody who's familiar with B2C commerce. And so like this, you kind of get the updates for free.
I love that. That's awesome. What authentication methods were already available for Commerce Cloud Account Manager?
Yeah, so today, if you were to go use Account Manager, you have one option, and that is for you to use the Salesforce Authenticator mobile app. So within a couple of weeks, actually coming right around the end of this month, we'll offer those other additional factors that I mentioned in my presentation. So really the goal here has been to reduce as many barriers for our users to adopt MFA or that second factor authentication as possible. And with that, we try to draw a broad net. So while we understand there may be use cases that disallow your organization or members of that organization from using, say, a corporate mobile device. Either they're not issued one or a personal device can't be used, or we even have use cases where we have call center employees who do not have a mobile device with them during their working hours in the office. Because of that, we identified the need to be able to provide as many other authentication methods as possible. So as mentioned a little bit earlier, now with WebAuthN and TOTP, what that really enables is you to use whatever authentication factor works best for your user and for your business. So that could be Google Authenticator, that could still continue to be Salesforce Authenticator, Duo. You can even go and use hard tokens. So for example, YubiKeys could be issued for those call center employees, for example, who may not have a mobile device available, or if you don't issue corporate mobile devices and want to keep that kind of separation between, those hard tokens are available to be set up as well, really whatever works for the business. And just to reiterate, right, our big push is to reduce as many barriers for our customers to enable MFA as possible. In addition to that, if you're using that Salesforce identity integration we discussed a little earlier, you can use whatever second factors integrate with your own internal identity management. So again, say you're using Okta, whatever Okta supports, you can now use as that second factor and authenticate all the way down to, say, our business manager applications. So really trying to reduce those barriers to make it as easy as possible to accommodate any use case that your business might see.
Yeah, it's so important. And I want to stay on that authentication train. What authentication methods were already available for Commerce Cloud Account Manager? If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that is that Salesforce Authenticator application. So that's really that one today. And just to make sure that we're clear on our side, we have these new authentication features coming out right around the end of this month. So we have many users waiting very patiently to use those. And again, with the new Salesforce identity integration that's already available to you, if you want to use whatever factor works for you and your business and your internal identity management, that's there and available today.
Just want to give options,
Of course.
Are the exclusivity group, combinable and mutually exclusive fields exported and modifiable via XML?
Yeah, I can take that one. So yeah, the new promotion fields, they are included in the XML exports. And so we know a lot of our customers, they tend to export their pricing, products, or promotion marketing data because they typically use a third-party system or they're kind of distilling it into a broader analytics suite. So these fields are included in that export to make their business processes and analytics easier for them.
Are there any additional, another licensing question, are there any additional licensing charges to use the process exemption or return order in Salesforce order management?
Could you repeat that question? I'm sorry, I didn't catch the beginning of it.
No worries. Are there any additional licensing charges to use the process exemption or return order in Salesforce order management?
No. As we were saying before, the process exception as well as return order are included as part of the standard order management license. So,
perfect. Another MFA question. I knew there would be a lot of these. Will the MFA requirements for JavaScript and Business Manager impact the code upload process at all? Alex, that's for you.
Yep, absolutely. That's a great question. So today, MFA, as we require it for our users, or you look across the board for account managers, for when logging into our UI. So say you go log into your normal administration interface or otherwise, those MFA requirements will be there and present for that login experience in the UI. However, when you're uploading code to our platform using WebDAV or an extension or programs, just CyberDuck or whatever that may be, we also require a client-side certificate for that code upload process. So it's a bit different and managed a bit differently. And through our info center, you can actually find details on generating that client cert and how it's used. But that additional factor is actually already enabled across all of our customers for their production environments. So it's likely that your development team already is using that client-side certificate for their code upload process, and that won't change or be disrupted by this new multi-factor authentication options or whatever that you may enable going through that process.
Yeah. And I do want to point out that we're right at about 10 minutes from the top of the hour. Just want to remind everyone tuning in that if you have questions, to go ahead and post them on the community and Twitter. We're actively adding them to my list so that I could bring them up and have our speakers answer them live. We do have a few more to go through, but since we have a good 10 minutes left, we can definitely get to your questions live. So don't be shy, put them in there. My next question is for you, Anne. Can some grocery features get used standalone or outside of the bundle?
Yeah, definitely. So we can, you can pick basically from any storefront feature that you want. A lot of them are separate plugins. So just go into the kit, take that plugin that you like, right? Use the picker app, not just for grocery, for any industry that you want. And same, of course, for the time slot manager.
And this wouldn't be a release readiness session if there weren't some roadmap questions. So this one's really for the group, okay? If you can share anything on the roadmap that we haven't touched on already, I want to make sure and bring that up.
Yeah, maybe I'll pick up just on my side since we've had quite a few questions on this MFA topic. One of the big pieces as we've been pushing forward and we're looking into the future looking roadmap across the year is really reducing barriers to our customers enabling multi-factor authentication for their users. So I'll take a moment and just preach for a second in the sense that, we want all of our users to use multi-factor authentication for all of their users. It's an additional step of protection. It helps protect against account takeover. And really at the end of the day, if those credentials are compromised for whatever reason, it's an assurance that your business information is safe. And that could be across any type of use case, any account that's compromised. No matter what, getting access to sensitive data is always a risk. And it's something that we understand and make sure that our customers not only are aware and acknowledge the risk, but from our standpoint, we want to make it as easy as possible for our customers to protect themselves. So some features you'll see over the next year will be really focused on helping that unified authentication process I had mentioned earlier, migrating your business manager users to account manager. These features we talked about today, additional factors for multi-factor authentication, additional means to tie into your existing business tools and processes like the identity management, but also to really help driving the ball forward. So allowing you, for instance, to be able to configure multi-factor authentication for one specific user, or blocking the usage of JavaScript requiring multi-factor authentication at least to do so in Business Manager. All of these different items are part of this ultimate roadmap of getting us to multi-factor authentication enabled for all customer users. And it's something that we, of course, on our side consume as well. All of our users use multi-factor internally and of course, across those different areas. So from an overall roadmap perspective, really on the trust side, big heavy push on MFA. This will not be the last you hear of it, and we'll have multiple different webinars and other sessions, and you'll see new features coming on really how we're continuing to help reduce those barriers for our users.
Yeah, thank you. And that's, I'm gonna go ahead and plug the community there too. We will have webinars coming up. If anybody here right now isn't a member of our Release Readiness Trailblazers group or of the Commerce Cloud group on the Trailblazer community, please join and just be up to date on everything that we have ready to offer you. And I think somebody else may have something to add there.
Yeah, Christina, I was just going to add from the contextual pricing domain area and just in general in the platform, we're putting a lot of focus behind our APIs, our new commerce APIs. So customers will likely see a lot more enhancements in that area, or specifically in the price promo area, doubling down on their APIs that just make administration a lot easier. So I think in the next 6 months, around the 6 months time frame, that's where more things coming out of the API landscape.
Very exciting. 6 months. I mean, in quarantine time, that'll go by like this, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm double checking Twitter and the community, making sure I didn't miss anything, but it looks like we did get through most of our questions. I know I had brought up
Christina. Sorry, I would love to add some more from the industry vertical side, actually.
Go for it, Anne.
So, when we've put out a grocery toolkit, basically for the grocery merchants, we realized there is really, our core competency, right? Having our scalable platform is relevant for so many other industries that traditionally we may not have operated, as focused as we're gonna do it now. So we actually can stay tuned for some more community assets to come. For example, for the media and communications industry. So over the next couple of months, we're basically going to follow this approach that we just taken for grocery and release more community assets that are then basically going to give into the hands of the community to continue to be maintained, built upon, and used as the community sees fit.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't imagine how many businesses are doing things that they never thought they would have to venture.
Indeed.
Right? It looks like we don't have anything there. If anybody has anything else to add, otherwise I'm happy to give everybody some extra time back in their day and go ahead and close this session. I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed this presentation as much as we enjoyed telling you about all of these awesome new features that we have rolled out for you. And if we didn't get to your questions live today, maybe I chose not to put some of those out there because it requires a little more research. Don't worry, we will follow up with you within the next few days. And remember that these webcasts are all recorded. They're going to be posted on Salesforce Live's website for later viewing. And again, a reminder that we have communities for these. So join the Commerce Cloud community, join the MFA community groups that we have available for you, with all of the latest resources specific to these. And we're here all week, so please come back and join us again for the next session, which is going to be Marketing Cloud tomorrow. And I can't wait to hear how you're all using these features to innovate at your company. So please, let's keep this conversation going on that Release Readiness Trailblazer community, where all trailblazers meet to be release ready.